Priefert's been in the cattle working business for over 50 years and have designed a lot of innovative things over the last 50 years that have really made a difference in the cattle working business. I'm standing where it all got started right here on Priefert Ranch. In fact, I'm in the Priefert's corral system that they use each day. And this system that we're looking at right here is probably over a decade old. It's been sitting here, still in really good shape, a little dirty, a little beat up, but very, very functional. There's a lot that goes into building a good cattle working system. There's a whole lot of factors that you need to consider when you're building one. And a lot of people ask us, what's the difference between a portable system and a permanent system? And there are actually quite a few differences. One thing in particular that I would point out is safety. Priefert is a reputable manufacturer that's been in the business. We build everything that's got to be safe for the animal and safe for the operator. And so you don't have sharp edges that you might have if you hire a welder that may know how to weld but may not understand cattle flow and may not understand how important it is to have nice rounded corners and no sharp edges that can hurt your animals in any way. And so safety is a big feature. Everything from the way we design the slam latches to catch to the rounded corners and no sharp edges and the way the pin system works, all that's designed for the operator and the animal. We've got to have safety. It's our first priority. The next thing I guess I would point out is flexibility. If you build a permanent system in place, the problem that you have there is you better like it. And I think everybody knows that when you build a system like that, especially if you're expanding your herd, you're never going to find a system that's just right, that you nailed it, that cows flow great no matter how many head you have. You always want to make changes. And if you've got to hire a welder to come in and cut out what you've done and weld up new stuff, that starts getting really expensive over time. And the beautiful thing about portable panels is that just within minutes, I can take down and move alleys over, add pins, shrink pins. As I grow my herd, I can expand my pins and add new alleys. It's just really flexible as far as expansion and changes go. The next thing I guess I'd point out is very important when you're working with 1,500 pound mama cows. This particular system holds about 220 head, is durability. It's got to be strong. You've got to have a reliable manufacturer that knows how to build, not just the strength of the material that they use. We use heavy duty, heavy gauge material in all of our cattle working facilities, but also understanding the design, that how you engineer things to be stronger. And so durability is a major factor, and it's something that we put a lot of emphasis in. Every product is tested. The Prieferts are not just manufacturers, they're ranchers. And so everything we build is brought right here to the ranch and tested right here on Priefert Ranch. So durability is a major factor for us and something that we hang our hat on, we're very proud of. The next thing that I'd point out is that a system like this is virtually maintenance free. The reason I say that is once you put this thing in place, you're pretty much done with it. It's gonna sit there until you move it or sell it or take it down, because you don't have to worry about paint. Priefert uses an architectural grade of powder coat on their products, and so we were the first in this industry to do powder coat, so we figured out how to do it very well. Like I said, this powder coat that you're looking at here is over a decade old. There's absolutely no rust anywhere on this panel to be seen, and so that's going to make your investment last a long time. The problem with building a corral out of drill stem or something like that is that a lot of times you have to sandblast it first, then you got to put aluminum paint on it so the paint will stick, and then you're coming back every few years and painting the system so it'll last, so it won't rust to the ground. And here you don't have to worry about that. This powder coat has got a UV inhibitors. It's got a glossing agent in it. It's going to make this stuff last for a long time. We have an arena right over here on the ranch that has been sitting there 20 years, and it looks virtually just like this panel that you look at here in front of me. It's just literally the best way to go. So it's a very maintenance-free operation. The next thing that I like about it is it's easy to install. If you hire somebody to come in and weld up a system like this, you're looking at a week or 2 or 3, depending on how many guys and how big the system is, to weld that thing up and get it in place, and then you got the paint and all those kind of things. We literally can come in here with 2 or 3 guys and within a day you can have an entire system this size set up, ready to go, and you're ready to work cows that same afternoon. So this system it's modular, and it goes up really easy, very, very simple to install. Anybody can do it. We've got tons of instructions online for you to be able to do that. The next thing I would point out to you is the fact that it is portable. And why does that matter? Why do you want something portable? There are several reasons for that. Number one, if you ever decided to move your operation, you could take this equipment with you. You don't have to sell it with the home place. So if you sold your ranch, you sold your farm, you don't have to worry about trying to find a buyer that wants all this stuff out here or having to tear it out. You can literally load this stuff up in a truck, take it to your new place, and use it there. Another thing is you can tear down, if you have lease pastures at different places around your community, you can actually load this stuff up in a trailer, take it over, set up a temporary system, and catch cows in a lease pasture, and then right back over here to the home place. So portability really has a lot of advantages to it. Another thing that portable does for you is from a tax perspective. You have a tax advantage in a lot of states where you have property taxes, and the reason for that is if you put something in the ground in a lot of places, they're going to call that a permanent fixture, and they're going to charge you taxes. Your taxes will actually go up. Putting this portable system up, it sits on top of the ground, doesn't actually go in the ground, so from a tax perspective, you really got an advantage because you're not going to get taxed the way you would on something that you build permanent in a lot of situations. And then my favorite thing about a portable system is the resale value of the system itself. If you decide to sell out of the cattle business, or you're selling your place like we talked about a while ago, you can literally take this stuff, unchain it, unhook it, and you can, if you're done with cattle business, then you can sell every bit of this. Literally, if we sold this system that we have in place here that's 10 years old, in today's market, we would actually make money from what we paid for it. So it holds its value extremely well. You're going to get a lot of your money, all of your money, or maybe even like in today's market, even make a little extra money on the equipment that you sell. And so this particular system, if you look around here, we've got a lot of different features. There's a couple of different things that we offer in a sweep system. We do a Premier sweep system that's made with a Premier panel, 64 inches tall, 16 gauge quadriform tubing. Very durable panel designed to take abuse from this exact situation, and a lot of those panels you see out here are just that. The alley that we've made here, so we could show you a demonstration, we bring customers here quite often on the ranch, is what we call an arena panel. This is the rough stock open panel, and this is the same panel that it's a little beefier. Instead of being 1 5/8 inches, it's a full 2 inch diameter. It's also 16 gauge, but this is the panel that they use in the PBR and the NFR. The PRCA uses it. So all the big outfits use this. Very durable, full 6 foot tall pin connectors, very, very durable panel. All of the bow gates are extremely heavy duty gauge. Slam latches come on each of those bow gate systems. You've got the 9 foot bows that you notice here, and that's so we can be on horseback as we're working cows and have plenty of clearance. A lot of safety built into the latches. The slam feature is very important. So a lot of great specifications that go into these systems, a lot of engineering that makes it the system that it is. Now, the most important piece of any cattle system that you have is flow. And that's one of the reasons you need that portability. You need to figure out the best way for your cattle to flow smoothly. Everybody's aware of all the BQA specifications, and we've learned that we want to handle our cattle low stress. An animal that's not stressed produces better babies, maximizes their feed, and is just a healthier cow all the way around. So we don't want to hoop and holler and cowboy and bang and clang and be rough with these animals. We want to move them as smooth as we possibly can, and a lot of that, keeping that stress factor down low, is the way we design the system to flow. We want the cows to be comfortable in their holding pens. We want to be comfortable with the width of the alley and where they're flowing to. Cattle have a tendency to want to return from where they came, but they also have a tendency of following the one in front of them. So if you get that first cow flowing down the system smoothly through the sweep system and down the alley, then you've done something, because the rest of them are normally going to follow right along. That's why a cow trail is only about that wide. They all follow single file behind them. So that's what we're going to do now. I'm going to shut this gate off, and we are going to actually go in this pen right here. Now I usually do this on horseback just for safety. Ride in, pull them out, and we have somebody else working the sweep gate. I know this herd pretty well, so I feel pretty secure with them. So I'm going to go in here and cut off 5 or 6 cows, and we're going to actually follow them all the way down the alley into the sweep. Then I'm going to explain a little bit about the sweep, and we'll move into talking about the sweeps a little bit. Main thing when you come into your pens, you want to make sure cattle are going to flow away from you. You notice that I'm coming in over here to the side. They're already trying to move away. Now once I'm done, I've got enough cows. All of them I need are right here. I'm gonna cut those other cows off. Shut this gate behind me. Beauty of a slam latch. And I'm gonna move these cows nice and quiet up the alley. They're all gonna flow away from me. They wanna move away from pressure. So they're gonna go in the tub. Okay, we got one slipped out. We got the rest of them here. And now I've got them safe inside the sweep tub, okay? So we've got several features here that I'm going to talk about as I sweep these cattle around here that are going to demonstrate why it's so important to build in safety. This is the kind of stuff you don't get normally when you buy or you build in your own system. One thing I want to point out is that you'll notice that we hinge this sweep gate in this particular system right here on the alley itself. And the reason we do that is because it eliminates cow traps. The cows can't turn around and get in the corner where I have to open my gate back and forth and try to work them out. In this scenario, as I sweep the gate, not only will the gate sweep them right through the alley because there's no trap, but the gate itself becomes an extension of the alley itself. It adds another 10 foot to the back of the alley. So we're going to go ahead and sweep these cows around, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing as we're doing that. We're going to go ahead and open that gate over there. First thing I want to point out to you here is this spring-loaded lever latch. You notice I'm pulling around here. Those cows have found their way down the alley. And now I've extended this alley. If I had more cows, no problem right here. Now here's some real important points about a sweep system that you want to look for. We make 3 different sweep systems here at Priefert. We make an open sweep system made out of Premier panels, very popular, very affordable, very functional. We also make a rough stock open sweep out of those same panels that we use for the PRCA and the PBR and all those big. It's the 6 foot tall, 2 inch, heavy duty, 16 gauge panel for somebody that wants something a little more robust and maybe just a little taller. And so that's a good option for us. And then this sweep system that you see here is what we call our solid sweep. Now a lot of sweeps, systems that you see, they build those things up real high, 6-7 foot in the air. They've got catwalks around the outside. We found that that's just, we feel like a little unnecessary. These cows flow nice and smooth through any of these systems, be it open or closed. But we like to have access to those animals. We want to be able to look over inside there real easy and make sure everybody's okay in the alley. And we actually want the animal to be able to see us, which I'm going to demonstrate here in a minute, because as you move toward them, they move away from you and down the alley. So they seem to move a little smoother. Now this particular system right here, the most important feature of this gate is these slam latches right here. You notice we have 2 pistons and they both fire independently of each other, and they're spring loaded. And the reason that's important is very simple. When I'm moving cattle, let's say I've got cows in here and I'm moving these cows around. So I've got my cows and I'm pushing them, and all of a sudden an ornery cow comes back and pushes back on me. All right, so let's say I'm standing here and she rushes or kicks the gate and knocks me down. Okay, well you notice here that my spring-loaded lever latches have fired independently without my having to push them, and it's got on a block. Every 2.5 feet here we have a block in the system, and so it can't go more than a couple of feet before it stops. And what that does is that eliminates the possibility of me getting trampled, because if that cow knocked me down and I fell to the ground and that gate swung over the top of me, then here come all those cows. They're gonna walk all over the top of me and I'm gonna get injured. So that's a very important feature that we've built into This particular sweep system, our open-sided sweeps, they're all manual. They work a little differently. They also have 2 pistons, but they fire independently. Let's walk over here now and look at some of the features of the alley that we've got built in the sweep system and talk about why those are important as well. I mentioned that we have 3 different sweep systems. Now this particular one right here that we're going to look at today is kind of a hybrid. It's a mix of 2. This sweep system on one side features a rough stock open-sided panel, and then you'll notice on the other side that it has a solid sheet. And the reason we'd like to do that here at the ranch is because we like to keep those cows blind on that side because that's where the rest of the cows are penned. So we like to keep their head down, they're moving through the sweep system. We just like to keep them from getting upset looking at the rest of the herd on the other side. But we like it to be open on this side because cows move away from pressure. And as I move in to the rear end of one of those cows, she's going to always move forward, which we'll demonstrate here in a minute. I'm going to work my way down this sweep a little bit and just show you some of the features of this particular sweep system. All of our features, all of our sweeps, depending on the price point that you buy, offers a few more whistles and bells, if you will. This particular one that we have here, this rough stock open sweep system, this features a built-in preg cage. So I'm able to block off that cow behind me. I'm able to get total access to that animal here if I'm preg checking, and then right back into making it an alley again. So that's a pretty convenient little feature that we built. A lot of customers really enjoy that feature. Next thing we offer here is we've got block gates. All of our block gates to keep cattle sectioned off, especially in an area like right here, because this is where we have our scale platform. Very, very important. Need to be able to section off cattle throughout the alley. Our block gates all have gravity latches, so they're very easy to function. They roll very easy. We use apple core bearings in our rollers, and so very, very easy to use those block gates. All of these things pin together. They go together very quickly. You can put up an alley in literally just a few minutes. One of my favorite features of our system is the adjustable alley feature. A lot of times when you're adjusting an alley in a cattle working system, you have to pull pins, or you have to roll a wheel, or you have to get a hammer and beat it in, or you have to, use leverage. We literally have the fastest, I think, easiest working adjustable alley system in the business. If I want to, I've got it open to the widest setting right now, but if I want to knock it all the way down to a calf setting, I just pull that lever neutral, pull that handle, come over here, pull that handle, and now I've adjusted it down to its most narrow width. Okay, so now if I want to pull it back out, I simply pull the handle down, drop the handle in place, and now I'm adjusted all the way back out to the fullest width. So I've got several different widths here to choose from as far as adjusting your alley. I think it's the easiest adjusting alley system there is anywhere in any system. One of the most important things in any sweep system is to keep animals moving forward down the alley. And one of the best ways that we've found to do that is with the no-back alley stop. You notice here how this alley stop moves up and down. Set on a chain, it can be adjusted. This cow comes through, it runs over the top of her back, falls down behind her rear end. So if she were to back up, if she was to try to back up down the alley and throw everything off, you'll notice that she can't. It stops her, which means that all motion, all movement has to be forward. Once they pass under that alley stop, they've got to keep moving forward, and that's what helps the flow. It keeps you from having a whole group of animals moving back and forth in your alley system. So that's a great way. I've seen them where they mount on the sides, but if the cows come through nose to nose or nose to butt, they just keep it pressed against the sides. So we like the one that kind of has more of a guillotine effect, where it comes down over the back of the animal. The last point that I want to make about this open-sided sweep systems, because I know there's a little controversy out there. Some people, it's kind of a Ford and Chevy controversy. Some people like the open, some people swear by the solid sweep systems. Again, the reason we like a good open-sided sweep system, why I think it's the better way to work cattle, is simply because the cows can see you. I think they stay calmer. because they can see out, they can see what's going on, so they're not blind. A lot of theories are opposite of that. They think you got to keep them in the dark, you got to keep them moving through this maze or whatever. I like for my cows to move in a straight line, and I like for them to be able to see me. And I'll show you one of the reasons. When I move toward a cow, I'm going to put some pressure on this cow down here. And when I move toward her, see the rear end of that cow, you watch this one right here, as I move toward her back, she's going to move forward. She wants to move away from pressure. And so anywhere I move, that cow wants to go the opposite direction. If I move toward her head and she can see me, she wants to back up. So a lot of times I need to back up, get pressure off the cow in front of her. And so let's back up here and watch this again. I'm going to move toward the back. She sees me coming. She moves forward. I go toward her front. She sees me. She backs up. It's almost like magic, okay? And so that's what I like about an open-sided sweep systems. There's merits to both types of sweep systems. Again, it's kind of a Ford and Chevy discussion. It depends on what you like as an individual. We offer both. So whatever sweep system you need to fit whatever budget you have, a 90-degree sweep with a 12-foot alley for a guy with 5 or 6 head, 180-degree open sweep with 24-foot alley, all the way up to a big system like this where you've got a solid side and a long set of alley and all the whistles and bells built in. We can accommodate whatever your needs are, and the beauty again of these portable systems is they're modular. In other words, I can start with a 90-degree sweep, I can turn it into a 180-degree sweep, I can lengthen my alley, I can add no back alley stops, I can add adjustable alley frames. It's just endless what you can do. And then the best part is, if I'm ever done with the cattle business, I can sell every bit of it on Craigslist and get my money back. That's the way it ought to be.